Over the course of 1,000 years, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth gave birth to a gem called the Chaos Pearl. By feeding off the sun and moon, its power grew at an unstoppable rate. The divine and demonic life forces it absorbed fused together, making it unstoppable. So the Supreme Lord of Heaven sends his two disciples, Tai Zhenren and Shen Gongbao, to put a stop to chaos. Both disciples fail to do the given task, so the Supreme Lord takes control. He divides the pearl into two parts, the Spirit Pearl and the Demon Orb. He puts a Heaven's Curse on the Demon Orb that will destroy it in 3 years. Till then, Tai Yi will look after the pearls. Meanwhile, the Spirit Pearl will reincarnate as the third son of the Lord Li Jing, and when he is born, he will be called Ne Jia. When the time comes, Tai Yi gets down from the heavens to meet Li Jing and welcome his son. Meanwhile, Shen Gongbao has sneaked into the kingdom too. He's jealous of Tai Yi getting chosen by the Supreme Master instead of him. He's already planning to take his revenge. He uses his magic to mind control some of the kingdom workers. With their help, he sends poisonous wine to Tai Yi. He drinks it immediately and passes out. Afterward, the worker tries to steal the lotus containing the pearls, but the protection spell is too strong. Suddenly, Li Jing comes over to get Tai Yi. To wake him up, Li Jing hits him mercilessly. Being immortal, Tai Yi recovers completely and proceeds to open the lotus. He has forgotten the password, but luckily the lotus can open with handprint too. Otherwise, Li Jing's wife, Lady Yin, had to stay pregnant for another 10 years. Another worker under Shen's control steals the pearls and puts the demon orb on the reincarnation slab in place of the Spirit Pearl. Li Jing tries to stop the disaster, but it's too late. Instead of the peaceful hero Spirit, Lady Yin has given birth to a demon. The newborn appears to be a ball of fire that's going to destroy everything in sight. The villagers start running away in fear. But luckily, Tai Yi takes the matter in his hand. He uses heaven's magic to put a special hook around Ne Jia's neck. It weakens him a little and Tai Yi proceeds to kill him, but Li Jing gets in the way. Even if it's a demon, it's Li Jing's child. He's just unfortunate to get accidentally cursed. The village leader comes forward and reminds everyone that they have been fighting demons for years. How can they let one live between them? Li Jing apologizes to everyone and promises to take care of Ne Jia's education outside the village. He is willing to face the punishment if his son causes any trouble in the future. Sadly, it's useless too. According to the curse given to the demon orb, Ne Jia will be killed by a lightning bolt right after 3 years. Li Jing is still not ready to give up on his son and wants to meet the Supreme Lord by himself. Meanwhile, Shen takes the Spirit Pearl to the Dragon Palace. The Dragon King was banished from the heavens, so he wanted to take revenge too. He infuses the Spirit Pearl with his egg to give birth to his son Aobing. He will be unstoppable and will rule over the world like gods. The Dragon King makes Shen in charge of training Aobin. Tai Yi takes Li Jing to the heavens, but unfortunately, the Supreme Lord is not available right now. Moreover, the guardian Chang Sheng Yun tells him that it's useless to meet the Supreme Lord as the curse is not removable. 1 day in heaven is equivalent to 1 year on earth. Ne Jia has grown up, but he has friends to play with. All the time, he has to live in the palace protected by a special barrier made by Tai Yi. Lady Yin has to take care of kingdom affairs in the absence of her husband and never finds enough time for Ne Jia. She finally got a moment and called Ne Jia to play with her. Surprisingly, the little kid has the strength of 100 men without even realizing. Lady Yin needs armor and 2 guards to have a playful fight with Ne Jia. Unfortunately, she has to stop in between and get back to work. She instructs the barrier guardians to be vigilant and not let Ne Jia escape. However, the little kid is clever as well. He triggers a fight between the 2 guardians, and while they are busy, Ne Jia sneaks out. He plays hide and seek with the villagers because they all hide as soon as they see him. A bunch of kids are planning to fight Ne Jia. One of them lays down a whole trap to punish Ne Jia and asks his friends if it's too mean. But the other boys make the trap more painful without realizing that it's Ne Jia who disguised as one of their friends. He makes the boys taste their own dirty trap. Afterward, Ne Jia decides to walk back home, but a kid calls him a demon from behind. Hearing this word, Ne Jia's blood starts boiling and he is about to smash the kids with a huge stone. Luckily, Tai Yi and his parents reach there in time and Li Jing locks up his son. Lady Yin accepts that getting called a demon is Ne Jia's fate. He has only 2 years left. Why not just take him far away in the mountains and let him spend his last days happily with his parents? Li Jing is against this idea. He can't let his son live a purposeless life. Tai Yi takes the responsibility of making Ne Jia presentable in front of the public. He will train him to become a demon-fighting warrior of justice. If he's going to die soon, Li Jing wants his son to die like a hero. Meanwhile, Ne Jia distracts the guards again to escape the palace. But he finds a magical scroll nearby that takes him into another world. This is where Tai Yi will train him. He shows him how to change the form of things. He can make a boat out of the tree and make the ground flow like water waves. This is called the immortal magic of Kunlun. Neja wants to learn the high-level magic, but Taiyi insists on learning the basics. It took him months to master the form-changing magic. Neja refuses to follow orders and decides to learn by himself. Taiyi goes to take a nap, and when he wakes up, he finds Lady Yin. She comes to check on Neja but notices him drowning in the river. The next moment, it turns into a poisonous frog that causes an allergic reaction to Taiyi. It was Neja who took the shape of Lady Yin to prank Taiyi. What he learned in months, Neja learned in less than a day. Seeing his capability, Taiyi agrees to teach him fire-controlling magic, but Neja must help him in getting the antidote from his treasure pants. Instead of the antidote, Neja pulls out the fire-tipped spear and starts playing with the deadly weapon. His parents reach there and stop Neja. They explain that this place isn't a prison but a training space. They want Neja to become a true warrior so the society can accept him. Neja believes it will never happen. Everybody has hated him and called him a demon since he was a little kid. That's what made him so rude and frustrated. If they think Neja is a demon, then they will see what a real demon is. Hearing his negative desires, Li Jing lies that he has the Spirit Pearl and destined to become the world's savior. But he must learn to control his powers. They can't tell this secret to the public, so Neja has to prove it. Once he shows how much he cares for others, he will get care and love in return as well. Neja agrees, and for the next 2 years he trains really hard. The only thing he can't learn is controlling his powers. He put more force than needed and destroy the surrounding of the demons as well. Taiyi takes away Neja's weapons till he learns self-control, but Neja has already mastered the immortal magic. He uses it to escape the training ground and proceeds to fight the real demons. He finds a water demon, but in order to catch him, he destroys several village houses. The water demon captures a little girl to blackmail Neja. Before the kid can save her, another hero rises from the sea and saves the little girl. It's Aobing. He's way too calm and self-controlled than Neja. He's the perfect image of a hero. Neja gives the little girl back to the demon so he can save her by himself. He starts fighting with Aobing to make him run away, but Aobing is as powerful as Neja. The demon enjoys the show and surrounds the two heroes with magical bubbles. On touching them, one can change into stone. In order to save the little girl, Aobing turns into a stone statue. But Neja defends himself from the bubbles by using Aobing as a weapon. The demon gives up and hands over the antidote. Neja uses it to bring back the little girl and Aobing. The little girl thanks Neja for saving her life, and Neja feels amazing hearing this. Aobing also thanks Neja and plays with him for hours at the seashore. Neja finally found someone worthy and powerful enough to be his friend. Neja starts crying because it's the first time someone offered to be his friend. Aobing understands his feelings as he never had a friend himself. He gives him a seashell to Neja, which he can use to call Aobing anytime he wants to play. As Aobing sees the people coming, he disappears. Neja tells them he saved the girl from the girl, but no one believes him and calls him a demon again. He loses control and starts beating up the villagers. Taiyi and his parents reach there and stop Neja. Meanwhile, Aobing returns to the Dragon Palace and tells his father and master that he met Neja. They tell him that Neja is not a friend but his ultimate enemy. The Lords of Heaven use dragons to seal off the demons underground. They have been living as prisoners for years and everyone hates them. Once Aobing defeats Neja, his identity as a dragon will be hidden, and Shen Gongbao will convince the Supreme Lord to make Aobing a god. Afterward, he will be able to save his family of dragons. On the other hand, after the unsuccessful attempt of being a hero, Neja locks himself and stops eating for days. To cheer him up, Lady Yin has arranged a birthday party and called all the villagers. Neja believes the villagers will only come to celebrate his funeral. Li Jing lies again and tells Neja that he has cleared the misunderstanding and not everyone knows he knocked off a demon. Neja gets really excited and rushes to the seashore. He calls Aobing and gives him a handmade birthday party invitation. Aobing's heart melts and he starts reconsidering his decision. However, the dragons pressure him again to complete the mission of saving his family. They give him their hardest shell to use as a protective armor. Meanwhile, Li Jing uses his ruler rights to force all the villagers to attend the party. Neja was excitedly getting ready when Shen Gongbao came to meet him. He tells him the whole truth and reveals that Neja actually has the demon orb inside him. He feels deceived and marches to the party in anger. Taiyi gives him 2 weapons and his personal ride as a birthday gift. His father ties a protective pouch around his waist and apologizes for always being so hard on him. Neja gives a deadly look and asks why they always lied to him. They just wanted to play with his feelings and keep him locked up until he dies. He chants the magical words and removes the hoop from his neck. His power gets out of control and he will destroy the whole village any minute. Shen is enjoying the view from afar with Aobing. Soon, Neja kills his parents and Taiyi and gets struck by the lightning bolt himself. Afterward, Wen will present Ao Bing as the actual bearer of the Spirit Pearl and convince the Supreme Lord to make him the god. Shen will get his revenge too. He was always looked down upon because he was born as a low-level spirit. Ao Bing wants to pay back Neja's favor. If he can't save him, at least he can save his parents. He covers his face and jumps on the battlefield. He gives the hoop to Tai Yi, who puts it back around Neja's neck. He's under control now, but as soon as open his eyes, he runs away in frustration. Li Jing wants to thank Ao Bing for his help, but accidentally reveals his identity as a dragon. Everyone starts accusing him as a criminal and a thief of the Spirit Pearl. Ao Bing finally understands what Shen Gongbao meant. People will consider them criminals till they are alive. Now they must kill the whole village to bury the truth. Ao Bing pulls the water from the seas and constructs a huge ice slab over the village. He's going to bury everyone under it. Meanwhile, Neja is taking out his anger on the forest trees. Tai Yi's pig, who accompanied him, suddenly shows Neja a past moment. When Li Jing and Tai Yi met the Heaven's Guardian, he gave a cure to the curse. Neja could be saved if a relative sacrifices himself in his place. Li Jing decided to sacrifice himself for his son and use his last 2 years of life to fix his son's reputation so he can lead a respectable life. The protection pouch he gave Neja was actually the sacrificial spell. Neja starts crying and heads back to save his family. He teams up with Tai Yi to fight Ao Bing and Shen. They accidentally teleport to the virtual training ground. Tai Yi's magical brush slips away and everyone starts fighting over it. They end up getting caught in an ice ball, but Neja succeeds in grabbing the brush with his foot and getting back to the real world. Ao Bing takes his full form as the dragon and starts to press down the ice slab over the village. To stop him, Neja takes off his neck hoop and uses his full strength to try destroying the slab. Ao Bing tells him to accept his fate as a villain, but Neja says no one has the right to tell you who you are supposed to be. You write your fate by yourself. Saying this, he destroys the ice slab and saves the village. However, he spares Ao Bing's life as he's Neja's only friend. He tells Ao Bing to leave as it's Neja's time to die. The thunder clouds have appeared already. Neja ties up his parents and destroys the sacrificial spell. He thanks his parents for giving him so much love, but now it's time for goodbye. Neja is pulled up by the lightning bolt, but he suddenly notices Ao Bing beside him. He uses his dragon armor to save Neja, but it's not enough. Ao Bing still doesn't want to leave. He prefers to die with his only friend. As soon as Neja and Ao Bing hold hands, the Chaos Pearl unites again and fights against the curse. Tai Yi grabs his lotus shield and rushes towards the kids. He uses the lotus to save Neja's and Ao Bing's souls that can be reincarnated again. All the villagers step forward and bow to Neja as an apology for not recognizing their savior. Some people still believe they can't change their fate, but Neja proved the opposite. No one is born a villain or a hero. Sometimes society forces him to be what they want. However, with true determination and persistence, one can change his fate.